Thanks for jumping back to Lem's Cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about an important event. Today there's what's called a black swan event in crypto. But to me, a black swan event is like something that was supposed to occur every 100 years under the definition by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, I should say, when he wrote that famous book, The Black Swan. But black swan events in crypto, they're just another day in the life of crypto, right? I mean, every few months is like a black swan. Well, today, FTX got into big trouble. And if you look at I'm going to minimize myself a bit more here. If you look at the heat map for cryptocurrency, it's a sea of red. Bitcoin itself, which is considered almost like a safe haven, is down nearly 13%, Ethereum is down 19%, and Solana is down 25%. So if you increase the number of coins here to like say 100, maybe I should make it 200 now. I wanted to show you FTT. Let's search for FTT. Here it is. It was coming up if you just search for 50 coins, but the problem is FTT, and this is a utility token for FTX, the centralized exchange. This token is down 79%, and it's causing a sea of red in the whole crypto industry. And I would argue it was causing huge volatility in equity prices, which is rare. Usually the stock market, when it goes down, it pushes down crypto prices. But today, I think this black swan event actually caused the stock market itself to be extremely volatile. So let's go talk about the news today. And I'm sure most of you are aware of it, but I'm going to tell you a few points about it that you might not have thought of. So the news is that Binance is moving to buy its chief rival. Well, there's only two rivals to Binance, right? There's Coinbase, which is down, I think, 15% today, and FTX, which is a private company. So Binance is moving to buy its rival FTX in what they're calling the major industry shakeup. And there we got the two tycoons of industry, as well as Brian Armstrong. And here's the news. Binance CEO said on Twitter, because remember, if it's not on Twitter, it didn't happen. So he said that he signed a letter of intent to move ahead with the deal to buy FTX. But he also said in another tweet that this is not in solid stone. He can get out of it. Something Elon Musk tried to do with Twitter, right? Basically, FTX is facing a cascade of withdrawals, but they said they're going to try and meet all of their withdrawals. So there's basically what you see all the time with the service companies and investment banks and in banking overall. It's about reputation, so you could get bank runs on centralized exchanges like this one. And there's some breaking news on Bitcoin from Bloomberg. So let's go to more information and let's dig down. The key point here, and this is from CoinDesk, is that there were divisions in Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire because his Blur, that's the key word, Blur, on his trading firm Alameda Research. That's the problem, that Alameda Research is private and FTX is private. So what you have here is obfuscation. I know that's a fancy word, but basically you have an opaque industry and you've got opaque companies. That's not a good thing. And I'm going to go to some key points I highlighted and read. It says, but even though there are two separate businesses, that we don't know what's going on, basically, on the balance sheets. And then it says here, next point, that balance sheet is full of, and they're talking about Alameda Research when they say that balance sheet. That balance sheet is full of FTX, specifically the FTT utility token, which is issued by the FTX exchange. that gives users of the FTX exchange a discount. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, because Celsius, the bankrupt DeFi platform, did the same thing with this Celsius token. And let's move on. It says here in red, it's fascinating to see that the majority of the net equity, that's balance sheet equity, of the Alameda Research business is actually FTX's own centrally controlled and printed out of thin air token, according to Corey Klippsten, who runs the investment platform Swan Bitcoin. So he's been very critical, obviously, of FTX. So let's read on. Other significant assets on the balance sheet include $3.37 billion of crypto held. And a lot of it, and here's what's really important, a lot of this crypto held on the Alameda Research balance sheet is large amounts of Solana blockchain. Because remember, SBF is a really big fan of Solana. He's always pushing it. And Alameda Research and FTX and Solana, I'm trying to get my thoughts in mind here. All these three are intricately tied together. So let's read on. I didn't highlight it, but basically it says here that they've got nearly $300 million of unlocked SOL that could be sold. And then they have $863 million of locked Solana that cannot be sold because it's locked according to the vesting schedule. And then it says other tokens mentioned are the SRM token for the Serum Decentralized Exchange, and the MAPS token, and Oxy token, and FIDA token. So there's a lot of tokens that Alameda Research holds, and I'm going to show them to you in a minute. On the positive side, it says here, I don't know if we could believe it, but it says, and this is the last highlighted sentence, token values may be low because Alameda Research books those tokens at at 50% of fair value. So I don't know. But let's see what Alameda Research actually holds. And you can do that by going on to, oh, this is not it. It's this one here. You can go on to coinmarketcap.com and actually look at their portfolio, the Alameda Research portfolio. And you could see that they hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you could see over over the last day, they've gone down 13%, Ethereum's down 19%, BNB's down 8%, and the big one, the big kahuna, is Solana down 26% in one day because, as I said, Alameda Research can sell it, and actually they can sell all these coins. Uniswap is down 18%, OKB down 11%, Aave is down 19%, and it goes on and on. And the FTX token, as I said, is down 80%, and it goes on and on. All these coins are down a lot. I mean, this is really insane. This is definitely a black swan for crypto. So the point here is that I want to say is not just that crypto is down, but I'm repeating what I said earlier, is that because Binance is buying FTX and FTX has liquidity issues, FTX may be forced to sell all these coins that are listed here, with the number one coin being sold is Solana. Now, I want you to think about that. Solana is a pretty good project. So if Solana goes down, like today, 26%, that's in a way a technical decline because it's FTX and Alameda Research is being forced to sell that. So you might want to scoop up some Solana at a deep discount price, or I shouldn't say deep discount, because the market value of Solana is pretty high. It's still at $9 billion, but at least it's lower than it was last week. And I want to also talk about, and this is my last point, I want to talk about what I see as a breakdown in the fiduciary duties and fear and greed. FTX did a seeding round recently, as recent as January and February of this year. And at that point, the value of FTX, the centralized exchange, was marked up yet again from $25 billion to $32 billion. And you can see here, I'm going to blow it up for you. FTX raised $400 million in a Series C funding raise that pushed their valuation to $32 billion. But my point here, that's not even made in any article, is this. I said that we have fear and greed. There's greed amongst not just FTX and SBF, meaning Sam Bankman-Fried, but amongst the venture capital firms. These firms have all access, to the balance sheet and income statement of Alameda Research and FTX. And these venture capitalists have a fiduciary duty to their investors as VC firms. So they should have known better, because they did know that Alameda Research was up to their gills in the FTT token. So they should have done a better job at researching Alameda Research and FTX, and they should have done basically better due diligence, and they should have done a better job at fiduciary duties to their investors. So I think this is a pretty sad day, not just because it's a black swan. It's a sad day yet again, and yet it's another sad day because of the issues with fiduciary duties at the venture capital firms, and the greed that SBF did when he was trying to be JP Morgan or the crypto godfather, right? He was trying to save all these firms when he himself was making himself susceptible to a liquidity issue. Remember, we had these issues already, right? With 3AC, with Voyager, and I'm trying to remember the other ones, and Celsius. So this is yet another black swan event that occurred because of greed and issues with fiduciary duties. Well, that's all, folks.